So, this is a totally unrelated story, but I said I would use the intro more often, so here's an excuse for me to use the intro, right? It had occurred to me that I went to all that effort to download that video to BitChute, the one that YouTube blocked in all countries. I downloaded it to BitChute so that it would be up, and so that people would watch it if they wanted to. And it occurred to me, but that I never checked to see that it was still up. I don't know if BitChute regulates anything or if they're actually a free platform. I have no fucking clue. So I went and looked, and while I was in there, I was kind of poking around and stuff. I don't know. Every time I get on there, I try and learn a little bit something new about it because I'm never really on it. But it does seem like a strong backup for me, for my channel, because I do actually pull some decent views out of BitChute. So, not a lot of subscribers, but not a lot of people are on it. And I still pull decent views out of BitChute, so that's kind of cool. But, yeah, so I was just kind of poking around, looking at stuff. And I noticed that I had a little $sign thing next to my subscribe thing. And I was like, oh shit, am I monetized? And then I was thinking to myself, well, if I'm monetized, how do I find out if I'm making any money? And then I'm looking for analytics anywhere just to see any sort of analytics for just to see how things are doing on my BitChute page. You know, whatever. I guess YouTube has spoiled me. So I was looking in to find analytics, and there are no analytics to be found that I found. But what I did find was I am monetized on there, and it pays into my PayPal directly. And I checked my PayPal not too long ago, and I was really wondering where some of that money came from, because I was like, so apparently I get paid for BitChute through. Anyways, so all that horse shit aside, I noticed that it says that there's some function on it somewhere, and I don't know where that is. It just occurs to me that I didn't look far enough to see how to do it. All I did was see that it was there. Whatever. So there's a function somewhere on BitChute wherein that you can tip me, or apparently you can set up like a patron type thing. I don't know. I have no clue. And apparently BitChute takes nothing from it. Like, so I don't know. I mean, I imagine that there's transaction fees of some sort on like PayPal's end. And I don't imagine that BitChute is paying that. So, I don't know. There's probably some additional cost in there somewhere. I have no fucking clue. But nevertheless, you know, hopefully I'm the one paying it. It shouldn't cost you $5.35 to give me $5. That's so retarded. Whatever. So, apparently that function exists. So, for those of you who say to me, you should really get Patreon again, I can't. Fuck Patreon. But apparently BitChute works like Patreon kind of too. So there you go. And I am supposed to encourage you to also donate to BitChute as a site because, like I said, they don't get a cut out of it. And they're pretty much, like, this is all crowdfunded. Like, BitChute apparently is crowdfunded. So I'm supposed to encourage you to give money to BitChute. Kick a little money BitChute's way. I think whenever I take money out of the PayPal from BitChute, I'll probably kick them an amount of money of some sort. Whatever it is I don't need. Which is all. But whatever. You know, whatever. I'm willing to, you know, pay my own dues here. So, yeah. I'm gonna have to look into that too. Son of a bitch. So whatever. There's my e-begging for the year. I hope you enjoyed it. And now we're on to the video.
Twitter today, quote, "She obviously has tremendous hatred of Israel and the Jewish people," the president tweeting. "Can you imagine what would happen if I ever said what she said and says?" Now, Tlaib says Republicans, like the president, are policing her words and twisting them into something they are not. Quote, "The truth will always win," Tlaib says in her tweet.
Holy shit! What did she say? I'm gonna play it for you in its entirety, right? And then we're gonna go through and look at the things that are phrased poorly. That's kind of how I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna show you a clip of this dude I found on CNN that honestly sums up perfectly just what an asshole anybody is that does this. Just saying.
So, Congresswoman, you've created something of a stir by coming out in favor of a one-state solution in Israel and Palestine. And I think you may be the only Democrat who's publicly supported a one-state solution. So what is your vision for a one-state solution that meets both Palestinian and Israeli or Jewish national aspirations?
Absolutely. And let me tell you, I mean, for me, just I think 2 weeks ago or so, we celebrated, it took a moment, I think, in our country to remember the Holocaust. And there's a kind of a calming feeling I always tell folks when I think of the Holocaust and the tragedy of the Holocaust and the fact that it was my ancestors, Palestinians, who lost their land and some lost their lives, their livelihood, their human dignity, their existence in many ways have been wiped out, and some people's passport. I mean, just all of it was in the name of trying to create a safe haven for Jews post the Holocaust, post the tragedy and horrific persecution of Jews across the world at that time. And I love the fact that it was my ancestors that provided that, right, in many ways. But they did it in a way that took their human dignity away, right? And it was forced on them. And so when I think about one state, I think about the fact that why couldn't we do it in a better way where, and I don't want people to do it in the name of Judaism, just like I don't want people to use Islam in that way. It has to be done in a way of values around equality and around the fact that you shouldn't oppress others so that you can feel free and safe. Why can't we all be free and safe together?
All right, so essentially what she's saying is it's a calming feeling to her that so many of her ancestors gave up their lands and homes so that the Jews could have a place to live after the Holocaust, right? That's kind of the message that she's trying to convey. I think she thinks it's a nice thing. Those people gave up their land so that the Jews could have some place to go, right? I think that's a nice sentiment. I think there were a couple of problems with her delivery, and I think that that's why she's run into so much trouble. Let's look at what some of those problems might be.
Just I think 2 weeks ago or so, we celebrated, it took a moment, I think, in our country to remember the Holocaust.
We celebrated, took a moment. That's a... Because you got to be sitting there thinking to yourself, I'm about to go into a Holocaust bit. We don't celebrate that. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's like a holiday of sorts. It's a day of, reflection and mourning. But it's a holiday of sorts. We do celebrate holidays. Maybe she thinks of it as a holiday. And so therefore, I don't know. Mixed it up. I don't know.
And there's a kind of a calming feeling I always tell folks when I think of the Holocaust and the tragedy of the Holocaust.
Now that right there, out of context. Utterly out of context. There's a calming feeling I get when I think about the Holocaust. That's totally out of context. So anybody who's just running with that as a clip, I get a calming feeling when I think about the Holocaust. Like, why? What specifically about the Holocaust gives you the calming feeling? Like, that's kind of an important, piece of information to, at the very least, fucking consider. But here's where I personally, this is not one of the parts where taken out of context. Like, this is not something I've heard anybody, say anything about. I haven't really listened to a whole lot of people talk about it, but this is not something that they've talked about on the news, as far as I know of. So, this was kind of my problem with it.
I love the fact that it was my ancestors that provided that, right, in many ways. But they did it in a way that took their human dignity away, right? And it was forced on them.
So she really loves that her ancestors gave up their land, but their human dignity wasn't considered, and it was forced on them. So does she really love that they gave up their land to the Jews and that was a good, nice thing for them to do? Or does she love that their humanity was not concerned and it was forced? Because it's one or the other, or neither. Right? You can't really love that people willingly did something as a wonderful gesture, but it was forced and fucked their humanity. Like, you certainly can't love that aspect of it, and you're kind of negating the first aspect of it with the second. So, like, that's the part that I kind of pick apart and go, what do you love again? Like, I don't understand that, but whatever. So as I was poking around into this, I ran into a clip from CNN. The good people over at CNN had this guy on, and I think that he sums up fucking beautifully this whole situation. Ready?
First of all, I think there ought to be a ban on the deployment or employment of Holocaust imagery and metaphor in Washington politics.
I mean, I don't think there should be a ban on Holocaust metaphors. I think that people should understand that if you're gonna make one, you better make it fucking good or figure something else out. Like a whole lot of other people killed a whole lot of people. Figure it out, right? Like, as an example, yeah, it just gets it in trouble. It's not good, right? There's really not very many ways that you can use it reasonably well. For example, when I was in my late teens, early 20s, right? Like, we're talking 18, 19, 20, around that. Me and my friends, we did nipple pinches. That was our, like, I don't know, guys, for some odd reason, when we're around about that age, some of us develop little grab ass games with each other. I don't know why the fuck we do it, but we do. And our game was we would fucking pinch each other's nipples and shit, right? That was the thing. And my whole thing was, my nipple's pierced. If you guys pinch my nipple, there's gonna be problems, right? So I was excluded from the game. I didn't play it with them, and I didn't expect to have it played with me. right? So it worked that way. And one day, my friends were over. We had been up all night. I had to go to bed because I had to go to work in the afternoon. So I needed to get some sort of sleep. They figured this was going to be possible for me to do with them in the room playing video games, right? I kept telling them I must sleep. Get the fuck out of my place. They wouldn't go. And, I wasn't going to kick them out, really, like physically or anything like that. So, whatever. It was more just to stop being assholes type thing. And they just couldn't stop being assholes. So I grabbed one of my dudes. I'm sure you are all, like, at this point wondering, what in the fuck does this have to do with no, shit. So I grabbed one of my dudes. I fucking pick him up, throw him on my bed. I land on top of him. My hands land hereabouts. And I proceed to attempt to literally twist his nipples off of his body. Right? This lasted for minutes. And it was intensely painful from what I understand on him. And from the marks that we later saw. And from the beautiful colors that they turned over the span of the weeks. That particular maneuver of grabbing somebody, throwing them on a bed, getting uncontrollable access to somebody's nipples, to be able to just squeeze and pinch and pull as much as you fucking want. That was deemed the Holocaust. Now, what word do you use to describe the worst possible amount of pain that you can possibly think of? I thought it was fitting when they coined the phrase. I endorsed it. I was like, makes sense. You know what I mean? That's a painful situation to be in. And that was a fucking painful time in existence. So, that's when you really think of it in the grand scope of it, and it's really well explained to you like that, then you can kind of go, it's not PC, but it makes sense, But I don't, we don't talk about that shit anymore, because we don't fucking, I'm 39, we're not still pinching each other's fucking nipples. So, every once in a while, I will actually grab one of their asses, but we don't pinch nipples anymore. So, yeah, like if you're gonna make a Holocaust metaphor, make it fucking good.
Every time it's used and deployed, and has been, by Republicans, Democrats, it's wrong. Genocide is not a unique event, but the willful murder, systematic, organized murder of 6 out of every 7 million European Jews is a unique event.
Yeah, I mean, really just that once.
And every time it's done, it leads to misunderstanding and antagonism. She also has her history wrong. I mean, on 2 points.
Oh, shit! Count them down!
Number one, it's an arguable proposition, even had there been no Holocaust. Most of the institutions of the current state of Israel were in place before Hitler started killing Jews. So the Holocaust added urgency and international support. But I suspect, with or without it, the state of Israel would have come into being.
Huh. So I guess there was no giving up of anything. It was already fucking happening. Well, it can still be calming, I guess.
And finally, on this notion that Palestinians either negatively or positively helped to create a safe haven for Jews, the reality is that the Arabs of Palestine, Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti.
Wait, what?
Grand Mufti.
Grand Mufti?
Grand Mufti.
All right. Look, I don't know who or what the Grand Mufti is. It's Holocaust talk. I ain't fucking around with it. But I just wanted to clarify the Grand Mufti.
And Mufti in Nazi Germany, collaborating, coordinating with the Nazis about what would happen if Rommel's Third Corps had actually had been successful in Egypt and been present in Palestine. They were considering extermination of the entire Jewish community there as well.
Oh. Okay then.
So this was ill-timed, ill-advised, and I think it clearly is simply going to antagonize and polarize the already polarized debate in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the freshman class of congresspersons that they just can't. Well, I mean, this is 2 now, 3 now. Is this 3 of them? So, like, we have the triumvirate now. Hey, you know, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of Democrats are getting in trouble over like the whole Jew hating thing. Meanwhile, they're pointing at Donald Trump and going, he hates Jews. Him with his Jewish son-in-law and daughter. All right, like whatever, man. Whatever. Just you. Cool. That's cool. All right. I don't know. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just seeing a lot of it coming from. I'm seeing a whole lot of fingers fucking pointing this way, and a whole lot of 3 times as many fingers pointing the other fucking way. But like, it's one of those things where I'm kind of like, you're doing it to yourself. Like, I get it. They chose the wrong portion to be upset with, and they went probably the wrong route of explaining why they're upset. But no matter what she said, there's somebody somewhere that can find a really, really convincing argument for how it's kind of anti-Semitic. Or at the very least, fucking, I don't know, like not, I mean, maybe that's, she's talking about her emotional state on it, so maybe that's fucking true, but, you know, maybe she's been fucking lied to. Maybe the history hasn't been properly explained to her. Maybe she's been kind of brainwashed by somebody somewhere along the line. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, who knows? It takes many forms, but nevertheless could be there. But, yeah, so I think, you know, I get that it's that region. I do. I get that you're a congressperson that has ancestry in that region. I get it. I do. But what I don't think that you understand is you're a United States congressperson. And you should be far more fucking concerned with United States shit. Right? And I get that we're involved over there. But you guys being so huge on recusal as you are for conflicts of interest, I think that maybe you could consider your heritage to possibly be a conflict of interest if you happen to be so passionate about the subject that these kind of flubs are happening. Mayhaps you should recuse yourself from these concerns and allow other Congress people to sit on those committees dealing with that kind of thing. Right? Just saying. Like, it seems like some people are very passionate about the whole situation with the Jews in Israel. And I think those people should consider the fact of who they are now and what it is they do, right? They're not in that position to advocate for one other nation or another. They're there to advocate for our nation. They're a representative of our nation and should then be acting as a representative of our nation. Right? Now, you may you say, well, maybe she thinks that the current administration's policies regarding that nation are incorrect. Well, all right, fair enough. But if that's the case, then stick to the argument that's the thing. Quit trying to do this. I think it's great that we still have Jews in the world thing, but people's land was taken. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where's the American concern in this? Like, because we've picked a side. If you want to argue against a side, find horrible things that side is doing and address those as being concerns as to why it is we are supporting this side when they're doing X, Y, or Z. As opposed to waxing fanciful about the goddamn Holocaust. Fucking... Like, I get it, man. It's politics. There's a certain etiquette. There's a certain way of being. New people don't always entirely understand it. Donald Trump has made almost all of these mistakes in his time as being president. Yes, the mistake of saying things without fucking thinking. Yeah, he's done it. He's probably. It's 5:40 in the afternoon, and he's probably doing it right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just throwing a rock, right? Like, yeah, the man does it constantly. Like, you really do have to read between the lines with everything that Donald Trump says, or else you kind of sit there and go. But it's the phrasing of it. He's not polished. He's getting better. He is getting better. I will say this. At least now he's not the one getting in trouble for saying this kind of shit. So that's fucking refreshing. I mean, it's still anything that he says is just terrible and awful. But most of it nowadays I can be like, man, you're just being crazy. But before it was kind of like, yeah, but like there was a whole lot of that going on. Not as much as for Donald Trump. But it seems like these new Congress people, their foot and mouth syndrome is, and it's only been so long, man. Like this, but this is why I love paying attention to politics, man. Because you gotta understand the kind of upheaval that this kind of shit does. I never really go into this part of it. There's a shit ton of upheaval that goes on with this. Now the party leaders have to figure out the party line for it, and then they have to make sure that everybody's fucking toeing it. They have to be out there proposing it so that everybody fucking knows, yes, we're on board too. This is our story. And then, they have to then manage this fucking political crisis, because that's what it is, because the Republicans are all going to go, she's an anti-Semite because she said that the Holocaust is calming. And I'm like, there was such a better clip you could have picked that actually fucking made sense. Whatever. So, yeah. And then they're all going to go, well, they took the shit out of context. That's not even what she said. It's not what she meant. And I'm going to be sitting here going, she did say, I don't know, whatever. And a month from now, it's going to be Ilhan Omar's turn again, and she's gonna say something stupid, or it's gonna be the fucking other one. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hasn't said something fucking stupidly newsworthy in I don't know, a couple of months, or at least not to the point where I've caught wind of it. So she's due, right? Like I understand she hates Joe Biden with passion, so that's funny to me. To see that she has got her sights on trying to scuttle Joe Biden's presidency run, that makes me laugh. Because she's going to be with Joe Biden the way that everybody is with Donald Trump, and that makes me laugh. Because it almost makes me want to be like, let Joe in. Let him deal with it. But, fuck it. I don't want to see it that bad. I said it would be great for the laughs once already. And now Donald Trump is our president. So I'm not making that mistake a second time. Fuck the laughs. Let's just, you know. But yeah, so not as bad as everybody's making it out to be, because they're not paying attention. Like, they couldn't get past the part where she said she really loves thinking about the Holocaust. Like, that was where everybody turned off the fucking recording and went, oh, this is just terrible. Nobody listened to where she went into, you know, it was forced on them. Because that's where I'm like, I have some fucking follow-up questions here. Wait. So, whatever. But is she an anti-Semite? I don't know. How am I supposed to know? Does saying this make her an anti-Semite? I would argue that, to my knowledge, this being the only thing that I know of that she has said that I know of, I'm sure everybody in the comments can tell me 500 things. This is the only thing I know of. As far as I'm concerned, I would go as far as to say I don't personally think so. But this doesn't fucking help. Like, this is not, like, this will be something I'll think of 2 months from now when she says something like this again. So, you know what I mean? So there's the thing. I don't know. Just bonkers. Just fucking bonkers. But yeah, I love that one dude. He made me laugh. Just, nobody should, just, politicians, shut the fuck up.